Good morning. Today is Monday the 7th. Monday the 7th. Um, this week, make sure that you put your name on your packet. Make sure that you put your name on your packet. First and last. Today's date is February the 7th. So that's 2/7/22. This week what's due is the warm up. We have the homework. We have a comparing activity, and what was the other thing? Oh, good grief! Comparing slopes and Y-intercept, or rates and Y-intercept, and then we have a quiz on Friday, and that's on everything that we have covered this week.
But guys, make sure y'all writing this down. I see a lot of blank spaces on your papers.
What is the second to last one say?
This is comparing slope and Y-intercept. Tutoring this week is Tuesday, same time. It's virtual at 3 p.m. Tutoring this week is Tuesday, same time. It's virtual at 3 p.m. Same link. Do not forget that I do give you extra credit. Do not forget that the stamps this week count as points towards your quiz at the end of the week. Okay. Today we're going to do our warm up. There's going to be a homework help video, so please watch the homework help video. It's Monday, and there's a help video. I will send the help video out this afternoon. It'll also be on Canvas. We're going to do the warm up. Then we're going to finish the notes on comparing slope and Y-intercept. Oops, I said finding. Finish. And then we're going to do some guided practice problems. If we have enough time, we'll start the comparing slope activity if we have enough time. Okay. Make sure that we take out our planner so we can write our homework in our planner, write the dates in, and then write our homework. We're on week number 3. Time is rolling. Time is rolling. Now pause for the cause to give you a chance to write this. Please make sure that you know what's due this week. You should be working on iReady. Don't forget about that project. It's due the 18th. February the 18th is when iReady is due. And that's February 18th. Okay, don't forget about that.
This next Friday?
Whenever the 18th is, I don't even know, to be honest. I don't know.
You got this Friday, but the next Friday.
Yeah. So just make sure that you keep that in your mind. If you haven't already started last week, you need to make sure that you go in and start this week, okay?
And everyone should have finished their already diagnostic by last Friday. Raise your hand if you did not finish that.
Okay. Yikes.
So,
I don't know. It may reset them all to start all over again. It's super important that you finish that within that time frame. Okay, that's very important. Please make sure that you go in. If it gives you the right, take the earbuds out, babe. If it gives you permission to finish, you need to go ahead and finish. If not, you need to let me know. Okay. All right, let's look at our planner, please. We are going to turn to a new page. This is February 7th through February the 11th. and this is Q3W3. This is quarter 3, week 3. It's February. It's between February the 7th through the 11th, and it's Q3W3. So Monday's date is 2/7. Tuesday's date is 2/8. Wednesday is 2/9. Thursday is 2/10. Friday is 2/11. If you want to put Saturday and Sunday on there, that will be 2/12 and 2/13. Do not forget, you can use these days to make up on work. Let me make this look like a 13 instead of a B. It looks like a B to me. Okay. All right. So today we have our homework. We got math 8. We got our homework. And we got our homework help video. Okay. For Tuesday, we got virtual math tutoring. Don't forget that's extra credit. I don't know why I put 2 T's there. And that's at 3 p.m. Don't forget about that. And Friday is when our assignments are due.
Did anybody take you up on that extra credit help last week?
Yes. Okay. And then we have our quiz. Okay. Any questions? Don't forget about the stamps. Okay. Anyone still copying? Anybody? Okay. Let me pause. So now let's work on our warm up. Okay. It's asking for the distance between the Y-intercepts. So we're finding the Y-intercepts, and we're going to subtract the Y-intercepts to see what's the difference between them. Okay, the distance between them. All right, so we have the Y-intercept for this equation right here. What's the Y-intercept for this first equation? B is equal to what number? Hello. Which number is -5? And in this equation, what's the Y-intercept for this equation here? 4. Okay. So we want to know the distance between -5 and 4. So on the number line, how far is -5 away from +4? Okay. So if we subtract, we got -5 minus 4. What does that give us? 0 is somewhere in here. Okay, how many spaces is it from? How many spaces? Okay, so it's 9 away. It's 5 spaces this way, and it's 4 spaces this way. So that's going to give you a total of 9 spaces. So even though this is -9, it's 9 spaces away. So our answer is really 9, just +9. The distance is 9 spaces away. Did she knock on my door? Yeah. Okay, cool beans. We're going to pause here so we can quickly go to the restroom. All right, false alarm there. Okay, so let's look at this one. Alan wants to join the gym. Okay, Gym A charges a $50 membership. So you automatically have to pay the $50. So this is Gym A. Okay, come on, babe. Focus and pay attention, okay? The starting amount is $50, so that's B. Okay, the membership fee, that's the starting amount, the membership fee. And $10 per month. So every month is $10. So that's going to be our M. That's our rate. Every single month is $10. That's for Gym A. How do we write this as an equation if our starting amount is $50 and our rate of change is 10? Yes.
Y equals 10x plus 50.
Very good. Y equals 10x plus 50. Where Y is the total amount of money they pay for the gym, and the 10 is being multiplied to the months because it's $10 per month. So this is number of months. Okay. So now let's look at gym. Let's just look at gym B. Okay. It says gym B does not charge a membership fee at all. So there's no starting amount here, no membership fee, but charges $25 per month. So M is equal to $25 for every single month. Okay. It says if, well, how do I write this as an equation here? How do I write this as a linear equation here? Yes, babe.
Y equals 25x.
Very good. Y equals 25x. Some people might say plus 0, but you don't have to say plus 0. Okay, you can just leave it at 25x. All right, so now if Alan plans to join the gym for 4 months during the winter, which gym should he choose? Okay, so let's use our calculator and see which one is cheaper in 4 months. Okay, we want to see which one is cheaper in 4 months. So let's clear our calculator out. Second plus 712. Second plus 712. Make sure your calculator is clear. Everybody needs to type this in. Stoney, you okay? I need you to clear your calculator, babe. Let's type this in. All right. Where do we go to type in equations? What button do we press to type in equations?
Y equals.
Y equals. Very good, Christian. So let's go to Y equals so we can type in both equations. We want to type in gym A equation first, which is 10x plus 50. So let's type in 10 and then X. Where's the X button? Below. Very good. Beside the alpha button. Where's your calc, baby? Come on, let's type this in so you're able to do this on your own, okay? Everybody needs to type this in. We got 10x. What else? Plus 50. Good job, babe. That's the first equation. So now press the down arrow so that you can type in the second equation for gym B. Okay, so I'm going to type in 25x. 25x is right beside the green alpha button. Okay. All right. So now we got both equations in. So now we're going to look at the function table to see. Stoney, you didn't type anything in, babe. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Type it in so you can see. So now we're going to go to the function table so that we can compare to see which one is the cheapest in 4 months. Okay. And remember, X represents the number of months. So to go to table, you see how table is in yellow? Press second graph where table's in yellow. And so now we're going to go down to 4 months. That's 0 months for X, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month. So let's look at the prices here. Which one is the cheapest? Is it gym A or gym B? Gym A is the cheapest. So that's what we're going to write. Gym A is the cheapest. How much cheaper is it? By $10. Is the cheapest by $10. Okay? It's $10 cheaper. All right, I'm going to pause for the calls and then take out your interactive notebook. All right, so we should have our interactive notebook out. Anybody need more time? Okay, we're on page 7. Let's make sure that we're on page 7. We're comparing slopes and Y-intercepts. We're comparing slopes and Y-intercepts. I'm going to go through this with this one more time. All right, we're going to pause so we can go to the restroom real quickly. All right, so here, comparing slopes is what we did first. When you're comparing slopes of equations, tables, graphs, and word problems, to identify the slope in an equation, it's going to be the number that's attached to x, provided that the equation is written in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. If it's not written in slope-intercept form, then you will not be able to identify what the slope is. So the equation must be written in y equals mx plus b. The number that's attached to x is going to be the slope when you're looking at equations, linear equations. In a linear table, which means that these points, if you were to graph them, they would form a straight line. Your slope you would find by using the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? Slope of a graph, you use the formula rise over run. So you pick 2 points on the line and you count your up and your over, or your down and your over. Your rise over your run. Your up and down is the rise. Your left to right is the run. If you go up, the top number is positive. If you go down, the top number is a negative. If you go to the left, your bottom number is a negative. If you go to the right, your bottom number is a positive. In a word problem, your rate of change, okay, $5 per hour. Those, if you look for your rate is going to be your slope. Slope and rate are synonyms. They mean the exact same thing. Okay. Your starting amounts. Your starting amount in an equation is the number that has no variable attached to it. The starting amount in the table is where your x is equal to 0. So look in the table, look for where x is equal to 0, and the y value is the y-intercept. This point is on the y-axis. On your line, your y-intercept, you can physically see where the line crosses the y-axis. Wherever it crosses the y-axis, that's your y-intercept. In a word problem, you're looking for the initial value or the starting amount in a word problem. Okay? Since here it says you received $10 for the day, for a day, that $10 is automatically what you have to pay for that day. That's your starting amount. Be careful because it can appear to look as though it is the slope. But we have to understand the context of the problem to know that you're being charged that for just that day, but $5 for every hour. So your $5 is your slope, but the amount that you're charged for that day is the starting amount. Okay, so you have to really read the problem. When you're comparing slopes, you're going to ignore the negative signs. The negative just tells you if it's an increase or decrease. To figure out the steepness, you're only going to look at the actual number, the absolute value of that number. The negative or positive just tells you if it's an increase or decrease. But in order to figure out which is the steepest, you're just going to take the absolute value of the number, whichever one has the highest absolute value, not looking at the negative or positive. Okay, so in this one, the -6 is decreasing by 6. +4 is increasing by 4. But this is this is much steeper than the 4, even though this number -6 is smaller than +4. We're only looking at the fact that it's 6. Okay? We're not looking at the negatives and positive. They only tell if it's an increase or decrease. This, however, even though it's decreasing, is steeper than 4. Okay, 6 is steeper than 4, even though it's decreasing. Any questions about that? All right, the last thing, I wish I could try to squeeze it in here with the Y-intercepts. The Y-intercepts, you're going to just see which number is bigger. Okay, which number is bigger, which one's smaller. There's no trick to it. Chloe, sit up, please. Okay, so with a star, when you're comparing your Y-intercepts, you're just going to look to see which one is bigger or smaller. Okay. You take the negatives into consideration. The only time you don't take the negatives into consideration is when you're comparing slopes. So when comparing, I'm going to try to squeeze this in there, y-intercepts, okay, you are going to notice the negative and the positive signs. You're just going to put them in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. Place in order least to greatest, greatest to least. Least to greatest or greatest to least. Or vice versa. Okay. And I'll pause to give you a chance to write. All right. Make sure that you put this sheet, I'll put this on your desk. Be sure to put this sheet in front of you. We're going to paste this in our notebook on page 8 when we're finished. We're going to paste this in our notebook on page 8 when we're finished. Okay? right, so let's look at the side that says comparing functions. We're practicing word and problem solving. Okay, so the first question is everybody okay? Does anybody need more time to get assemble themselves? Madeline, you okay? You good? Okay. All right. It says find the slopes of a linear function, of linear functions f and g. This is f and this over here is g. That's just, they're both y. F of x is the same as saying y. G of x is the same as saying y. It's just you're distinguishing between the two. So we give this one f and this one g. It can be any letter you want it to be. This could be T, this could be L. It doesn't matter. They're just distinguishing the difference between two functions. One is written as an equation and one is written as a table, just like we did in our notes, okay? They are both linear, okay? They are both linear. That means that if you were to graph the points from either one, they would form a straight line. So first thing we're going to do is find the slope of f. That's an equation. Which one of these numbers represents the slope, or m, in this equation? 5. Just the positive 5. Okay, just the number that's in front of x, not x itself, okay? X itself represents the number of something, okay? So our slope here, m, is positive 5. So now let's look at the table. So we have to establish what is the slope of the table. Remember, to find the slope of the table, we use the slope formula. Which slope formula do we use to find the slope of a table? Does anybody remember?
Y2 minus Y1, X2 minus X1.
Very good. Okay, so we need 2 points from the table. We need to pick 2 points, and I will pick the 2 easiest points that you can find on the table. Doesn't matter which 2 points, just pick 2 easy points that you can use to substitute. What would you like one of them to be?
1 negative 1.
1 negative 1. Slide this over a little bit. 1 comma negative 1. And what's another one?
0 and -3.
We went backwards. Let's go forward. If you want to use 0, -3, put 0, -3 first, okay? Because it came first. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go forward. Let's use 2 and 1. And if I were you, because some of you get stuck on negative numbers, I would use the positive ones. And so that's what I'm going to choose to use, okay? All right, I'm going to use 2 and 1, and I'm going to use 3 and 3, okay? Just because most of us don't like negative numbers.
Just keep it as easy as possible.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's label. This is X1, Y1. This is my first point, X1, Y1. This is X2, Y2. This is my second point. Any questions about that? So using these 2 points, what are we going to put on the top? 3 minus 1. Good job. What are we going to put on the bottom?
3 minus 2.
3 minus 2. Very good. Okay, so on the top, what does that give us?
2.
2 on the top. And what does that give us on the bottom? 1. What's 2? Simplify this. What's 2 divided by 1?
2.
So our m for the table is 2. So the g of x function, that the slope is going to be 2. So in comparing these slopes, which one is steeper? The f function is steeper. The f of x function is steeper. Or equation is steeper. And we can make this into a complete sentence. So capitalize the and put a period on the end. Any questions? Okay, Christian, let's look at the second one. Let's look at number 2, okay, babe? It says find the y-intercepts of the linear functions f and g. So we're doing this again. This is f and this is g. This time we're looking for the y-intercepts, okay? So let's look at the table first. What's the y-intercept in this table? What's the y-intercept of the table? Go back and look at your notes. How do you find the y-intercept of a table? When you go back and look at your notes, they said the y-intercept of this table is 5. How did we identify that the y-intercept is 5? Look at what we said, where the x is equal to 0. Okay, we look for where x is equal to 0, and that y value is going to be the y-intercept. So what's our y-intercept going to be in this table? -3. This is where x is equal to 0, and so that y value is our y-intercept. So the y-intercept of f of x is -3. That's where the line crosses the x-axis. Okay, so now let's look at the graph. Let's look at the graph. Okay. When you're looking at the graph, the y-intercept is going to be where the line crosses the y-axis. The line crosses the y-axis through the origin at 0. So our y-intercept is 0. Where does the line cross the y-axis here? At what number does the y-axis cross here? What number does this line cross the y-axis? This is your y-axis. -3 is down here. No, it doesn't cross at -3. It crosses at -1. So our y-intercept here is -1. Okay. So which one has the greater y-intercept? Is it function f of x or is it function g of x? Which one has the greater y-intercept? Which number is bigger, -3 or -1? No, it's not. -3 is smaller.
No,
-1 is larger. You don't do it like you do with slopes. It's completely different. With slopes, you ignore the negative signs. But with your y-intercept, you're going to take whichever one is bigger or smaller. So here, the bigger one, if we're looking for which one is the smaller one, it would be -3. If we're looking for the one that's the larger one, it's going to be -1. So let's say that the g of x function has a larger y-intercept. That number is greater. -1 is bigger than -3. Any questions about that? Okay. Anyone still writing? Okay. I'll pause for the calls. All right, here we go. I didn't know that you wasn't. Yeah. Are you okay? Okay. All right. Good deal. Sorry about that. Connor and Pilar are in a rock climbing club. They are climbing down the canyon wall. Connor starts from a cliff of 200 feet. So that's the starting amount for him. So B is 200 feet. Okay. That's the starting amount. All right. And climbs, or canyon wall, and climbs down at an average speed of 10 per minute. So my slope here is going down 10 a minute. So that's -10 feet per minute. Okay. Let's look to see. It says Pilar climbs down the wall and it's shown in the table. So this is Pilar's amount. So our starting amount for Pilar is how much? Let's start with Connor first. Okay. It says here, interpret the rates of change in the initial values of the linear function in terms of the situations they model. Compare the results of what they mean. All right, so let's look at Connor first. Connor is right here. What is the starting value for Connor? Where's the starting height that he starts climbing down from? It's 200. His starting amount is at 200 feet. He starts at 200 feet above, okay? He's climbing down at what rate? At what rate per minute? Okay, 10 per minute, right. -10 because he's going down, okay? What about Pilar? What's the starting value for Pilar? How far is she? Where does she start from? What height? How many feet? 242, right here on the table. This is Pilar, okay? So this is 242. Very good. So now we have to find the rate. What formula do we use to find the slope or the rate of a table?
Y2 minus Y1 x2 minus x1.
Very good. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Let's pick two good points from the table, okay? Pick the two easiest points. Which 2 points would you like to choose from the table? Come on, y'all.
1/234.
Say, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
1/234. 1
You want to use 1 and 234 and what else?
226.
Okay, so 0 and 242 and 1 and 234. I don't know why we want to use big numbers. That I don't know. Let's please stick to small numbers. Don't go big, okay? Stick to small, please. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Okay? Stick to the small numbers. All right, so what are we going to put on the top? What minus what is going to go on the top? Y2 minus Y1. What minus what?
234 minus 242.
200. Very good. 34 minus 242. Good job. And what do we put on the bottom? What minus what?
1 minus 0.
1 minus 0. Okay, so let's subtract. We're going to subtract here so you can see it. Clear your calculator. It's 234 minus 242. That's going to be a negative number. What negative number is that? Negative what? That's negative 8 over 1. Okay, negative 8 over 1 is negative 8. So she's climbing down 8 feet per minute. Okay, 8 feet per minute. So which one? Let's compare the initial value first. Who starts at the highest, higher than the other person? Pilar. Pilar starts from a higher height than Connor. So we say that Pilar starts at a higher height than Connor, sorry. Okay. And now let's look at who is going down the fastest. Who's going down the fastest, Connor or Pilar? Connor is going down faster than Pilar. Okay. So Connor is climbing down at a faster rate. Okay. How much faster is he going down? 2 feet. Okay, 2 feet a minute. So he's going down 2 feet a minute faster than Pilar is. Any questions about how we did that? Is there anyone that's lost? Okay, so let's look at this side over here. This is the side I want you to do on your own, or I'll let you work with one other person. I'm going to read the directions, and then you're going to paste this in your notebook on page 8, and we'll write the page number down here in a minute. It says, find the slopes and y-intercept of the linear function f and g. Just like I did over here, you're going to find the slope of f here and the y-intercept of f here, the slope and the y-intercept of g here, just like we did here. And you're going to tell me which one is steeper and which y-intercept is greater. Okay, and number 2, this is the equation here. So you're writing the slope of the equation and you're writing the y-intercept of the equation here. Then you're going to write the slope of, this is slope, the first line is slope, the slope here. Okay, the same way we did the slope here, where we didn't do the slope of the line. You just do rise over run, pick 2 points. I gave you an example in our notes. And then you're going to find the y-intercept where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, you're going to tell which one is steeper, that's the slope, and then which one has the greater y-intercept. Any questions about that? Okay, I need you to work. You can work with one other person, and then we're going to paste this on page 8, And this is comparing function practice. All right, put this at the top. This is Q3, page 8, comparing functions practice. When you're finished, you're going to paste this. You're going to paste this down on this page. Okay, I probably should have put practice a little higher so I have more space. Okay, put it on the first line. All right, go ahead. Let's finish this up, please.